Dark Discoveries is a podcast that dives into the darker corners of history, mystery, and the downright bizarre. We discuss real events that may include graphic details, adult themes, and strong language. Not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
We're here to inform, entertain, and maybe make you laugh nervous in public, but never to glorify the criminals or make light of their victims. Our research is thorough, but hey, we're not perfect.
We don't claim to be historians, so if we get something slightly off, blame Jimbo. All opinions are our own, and sometimes even those are questionable.
Welcome back to Dark Discoveries. I'm your host, Jimbo, and tonight I'm joined by...
I'm Jackie.
Oh, here we go. He's already upset.
I didn't know who was next. Dustin?
And Reagan.
We have Jackie's oldest daughter sitting in with us tonight. Mm-hmm. So tonight, we are going to be talking about giants.
Bigfoot.
Behemoths of myth, menace, and mystery. Dustin, can you name me one of the most famous giants of all time?
Hagrid.
Andre.
I
knew where it was.
Or how about Goliath?
I was about to say Goliath.
Oh, Goliath is good.
No,
too.
you weren't.
Okay.
Yes, I was. I was about to say Goliath, but you interrupted me.
So, as we dive into this episode, we're going to peer upward, way upward, into the realm of giants, towering humanoids, bone-crushing behemoths, legendary titans that have haunted the dreams and mythologies of mankind since the dawn of time. Are these stories merely symbolic? Metaphors for fear, power, or nature itself? Or is there something more? Were giants even real? And I'm sure Dustin's probably going to come up and say, well, I looked up some conspiracies that says giants
are a figment of your imagination.
I mean, I don't really know because...
Did you not watch Andre the Giant?
There's some tall people because
Robert Wadlow was the world's tallest man from Alton, Illinois.
And he had to use leg braces and canes and was in constant medical care.
I've got my picture by him.
We saw him at the Ripley's Believe It or Not. Remember that, Reagan?
In Tennessee, yeah.
It was
huge.
that. So that's a giant. So as tall as he was, that is a giant. I think that's a little bit small. That's just a bad pituitary gland.
So we're going to journey through ancient texts, folklore, religious scriptures, supposed archaeological evidence, modern conspiracy theories, and the psychology behind our fascination with the colossal. Dustin, did you ever play God of War?
No.
Never mind then. It's got some pretty cool, it's a video game about Greek mythology, and you have to fight titans, the big old monsters, big old giants.
Titans were the originals. Yeah.
So settle in, and don't forget to look up, Reagan, because this is Dark Discoveries, and this is the giants.
Giants aren't real.
So let's talk about the roots of the Titan. And Dustin's going to be in one of those moods. You'll have to forgive him. Who's on his third or fourth energy drink? I don't know. I've lost count. But let's talk about the ancient imagination. So every culture has them. Towering figures who dwarf the average man, being of immense strength, size, and sometimes surprisingly wisdom. Other times, there's terrifying wrath. From the icy peaks of Norse mythology to the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, giants appear everywhere.
What? Mesothelioma? What are you talking about?
You've never heard of Mesopotamia?
No. Sounds like you're choking on your tongue.
It's going to be a long episode, folks. Long episode.
I'm here to defend your guys' intelligence.
So the Greeks called them gigantes, monstrous offspring of Gaia, the earth, and Uranus, the sky.
I know where Uranus is at.
Oh, no, not in Anderson, not the Fudge Factory. We've already
covered this
about
place
100 times. But, the best fudge comes from where, Dustin?
Uranus.
The Norse spoke of Jotnar, which was chaotic frost-covered forces that opposed the gods. In Celtic mythology, giants built stone circles and crossed seas in a single stride. So how about Stonehenge, anybody? Pyramids, anybody?
Pulleys.
But it doesn't stop there. In Basque lore, the Jintalak were enormous men who hurled rocks and taught humans metallurgy. In Hindu epics, being like Rakshas and Deities battled gods with their immense power. The Book of Enoch speaks of the Nephilim, a hybrid race born of angels and human women.
They were bad.
Oh, yeah, they were. It begs the question, how could all of these cultures, oceans apart, invent such similar beings? Dustin?
Enlighten me.
I'm asking you.
Well,
So-
I mean, yeah, it's in Greek mythology, Norse mythology,
Egyptian
biblical,
mythology.
American. Yeah, there's just stuff everywhere. And I mean, we're Swedish, my family, and
Oh, your family is pretty Swedish.
yeah, and it's one of those like
You like sweets. You're Swedish.
Swedish, yeah. But like that's a huge thing is with the folklore there. A lot of the Norse folklore, but giants and gnomes are revered different times of the year. And Christmas is a big one for gnomes, but the giants are much more in the spring and the summer. So, quite fascinating.
Do giants allegedly hibernate?
Depending on the culture, yeah. In Germany, yes. In other ones, no. So yeah, a lot of it just comes down to the lore.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the
Folklore.
we're going to talk about the biblical giants there, Dustin.
Well, you got to
So-
remember
so
too, before you go
perhaps-
into here, like these people, like, pygmies are only like 4 feet 11 a male. So are we talking about normal sized people or a race of smaller statured people to
what
where,
is the average human male size?
I don't know, probably
6 foot?
probably about 5'9", 5'10".
Okay. So perhaps no single source has fueled modern fascination with giants more than the Bible. In Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, we read, "There were giants in the earth in those days when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. These giants were known as the Nephilim, described as mighty men of old, men of renown. Some interpretations believe that they were the offspring of fallen angels and mortal women, a celestial contamination." I don't know if I believe that because I don't believe in aliens. That's another subject we'll talk about eventually down the road. But later on in the Bible, we meet Goliath, the Philistine warrior defeated by David. His height was 6 cubits in a span. Dustin, how high is 6 cubits in a span?
I'm going to say it's like 7'4".
9 foot 9 inches. Some ancient texts make him even taller. So
How do we know that that was actual feet back? Because the metric system and the
it
standard
wasn't.
system
It
wasn't
was a
invented yet.
cubit and 6 cubits in a span.
What's a cubit? For those who don't know,
9 feet 9 inches. I just told you 6 cubits in a span.
what's a cubit though? Like, what's physically a cubit?
Is it the cubit from the length of your elbow to the tip of your fingers?
I have no
Is that
idea.
right? I think it is.
This is you're the subject
No.
matter expert. We're already seeing
Well, I
chinks
am,
in.
but I already have my notes, and you're asking me questions. You didn't do any research. So.
I didn't. That's why I'm asking, because these listeners are like,
Oh no! What Chat GPT tell you when you typed it in?
that they're fake. Here's the thing, Jimbo. You have to be the expert, so these listeners are counting on me to ask you these questions so they
Well-
can understand what a cubit is.
Well, mermaids are real. We've already discussed.
No, they're
that.
not.
I gave you the proof, and you still deny it. So then there's the
it's bad taxidermy.
then
That's what a
there's-
mermaid is.
then there's Og, or the OG, if you will. He was the king of Bashan, described in Deuteronomy as the last of the Rephaim. His iron bed measured over 13 feet long.
That's a big bet.
And I watched a
Are you sure he
documentary.
just wasn't sharing it
I
with
watched
others?
I watched a documentary on that, and they actually found it. It's pretty crazy. I would love to have.
Well, don't they talk about like David and Goliath? Goliath had like 6 fingers and 6 toes on each hand and each foot, and I want to say that that's quoted.
Not in the Bible, no.
Okay.
That's something that some archaeological person
Okay.
dug up and said, "Oh, look, we've added. Look, he's missing a thumb." I
wish you could have seen
I
that.
just did the missing thumb trick.
Yeah, yeah.
But these aren't metaphors; they are actually measurements, specific, intimidating. Were the ancient scribes describing symbolic archetypes or real beings? Then you have the Book of Enoch and the Watchers. The Book of Enoch, which is a non-canonical but widely studied Jewish text, gives us one of the most chilling accounts of giants. It speaks of the Watchers, angels who descended to earth and broke divine law by mating with humans. Their children were the Nephilim, described as giants who consumed everything, turning eventually to cannibalism and bloodshed. Oh, if you'd like to listen to our cannibalism episode, oh, wait. We had to get rid of that because somebody forgot to turn off the air conditioning in this place.
Who would do such a thing?
Don't know.
What a jerk.
We still got 20 downloads. Somebody out there has it. So count yourself lucky if you're one of the OGs that have
That's
that
right.
downloaded.
If
to your
you're
device.
dying to hear that episode, maybe if enough of you say, yeah, like 2 or 3 of you, we'll start a Patreon and you can pay us for it.
I learned about cannibalism.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
What'd you learn about it?
You eat people.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Okay, so we're going to pose this 11-year-old with this question. All right, Reagan.
Yes.
Hypothetically, you're going on a field trip. You're on a bus. Let's say there's the bus driver, a teacher, and 10 kids. You're one of the 10.
Okay.
You're going up to the Smoky Mountains. You've been to the Smoky Mountains, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are 3 wooden
It's the middle of
crosses
winter,
on the right
and
side
your
of the highway.
bus slides off the side of the mountain,
Rip.
catches fire. You survive. And let's say 3 other kids survive. Your bus driver's dead, your teacher's dead, and the 6 other kids are dead. Would you eat part of your teacher or your fellow students in order to stay alive long enough to be rescued? If it was going, let's say it was a bad snowstorm outside.
It depends what teacher it is and what kids there is. It depends on the
Solid answer.
I love this kid
This is great.
because your mom was like, well, if it was for my family, sure, take a bite out of me.
Yeah.
Dustin's like, I ain't doing it.
There are 3 wooden crosses on the
I would
right
totally let
side
myself be
of the
sacrificed. I wouldn't do
highway.
it.
Why there's not 4 of them? Reagan ate them all. It's not what you take when you leave the world. I guess it is what you take when somebody leaves the world. Is cannibalism?
So let's get back to the topic before Dustin has a solo album here. It wasn't this chaos, Enoch says, that prompted the Great Flood, not just to cleanse humanity, but to eliminate the corrupted bloodline of giants. Is it a myth, apocalyptic warning, or a rewritten history? Some researchers suggest that these stories preserve a memory of something real, perhaps a lost race or another species entirely. So let's talk about giants of the ancient world by talking about bones.
Funny you should bring up bones.
Tonight you're sitting home digging up bones?
I'm digging up bones.
Digging up bones.
So if you were a 20 to 30 foot giant, do you know that your bones would have to be thicker than a steel beam to support your body mass?
And?
The human body, if it was that big, it can't support itself. Just
Well,
like
that's why a lot of them pass away at young ages.
Young age.
That's
They
like-
have circulatory
Yeah.
issues.
That's
and all
why
kinds of stuff.
Wardlow had to have so much care and apparatuses to keep him standing up straight because the body will physically
But let's think about
break
it,
down on
Dustin.
itself. So you'll never get to.
Let's think
to
about it.
make it that
2,000
big.
years ago, they didn't have all this preservatives in their food that is probably helping to speed that process up.
And the race of people, the people back then were smaller. They weren't as tall. So if you had somebody that was 6 foot tall and you're 4 foot something, it would look like they were a monster. Like
How
they
do you
were.
know they weren't as tall?
Well, some of them still aren't.
Oh, I thought you were supposed to be the expert.
I'm not.
Where's your facts?
You're the expert. I'm the one trying.
Right, that's
to,
why I'm telling you you're wrong.
How tall are Asian people in the Bible? And they're not a tall race of people. They're not.
I love that he's like justifying that. They're not.
So
How
if
do you know how tall they were in the Bible? How do you not know they weren't the same height as you and me?
I'm just saying, like,
You know we're all related.
yeah, at some point, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's that red dye that we eat that's made us shrink over the years.
Yeah,
That's one of those
RFK,
guys.
please get that out of our My Fruity Pebbles.
And when you get into that and you talk about,
Reagan, what's your favorite cereal? Can you speak in the microphone so we can hear you?
Oh, what's the thing with the tiger?
Tony the Tiger, Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
There.
Great.
Not my favorite.
Oh, no, here we go.
I didn't-
Somehow we went around to food again.
You brought it up, not me.
Dustin,
You brought it
Dustin,
up.
please elaborate on what's your favorite cereal.
No,
is.
we're talking about something serious here, and that's the fact that history you just changed. Like it's just like right now. The what is it? Which one's the bad Korean? The North Koreans think that the U.S. Marines, because they're a smaller stature people, you have to be 6'2" to guard the 38th parallel. When you go in that room, they still think that the U.S. Marines are going to take them and eat them because of propaganda that the Marines aren't normal. They're monsters. They're giants to them. They're a smaller stature people, and they're afraid of them. Like, it's just propaganda is all the giants and monsters are.
Did you follow that, Reagan?
The only part that I heard was eating.
That is Dustin in a nutshell. Okay, so throughout the 1800s, newspapers across America reported mysterious discoveries. Massive skeletons, often 7 to 12 foot tall. They were found buried in mounds, caves, and ancient tombs, often with double rows of teeth, elongated skulls, or oversized jawbones. The most famous report came from the Midwestern United States, where early archaeologists uncovered thousands of burial mounds, some with what appeared to be enormous human remains. In 1891, scientists digging in Crittenden, Arizona, reported finding a skeleton 12 foot tall. In 1877, in Eureka, Nevada, miners unearthed a body supposedly over 10 foot long, mummified, and red-haired.
Ooh, my people.
Were they hoaxes, misidentified animal bones, or were they covered up? Conspiracy theorists often point fingers at the Smithsonian Institution, accusing it of hiding giant skeletons to preserve mainstream science. The Smithsonian, of course, denies all these claims like they always do.
Yeah.
Because they're smart.
Smithsonian no, they are not. They are
no.
evil.
Yes.
They are terrible.
We'll have to cover the Smithsonian Institute one of these episodes.
They are bad.
But why do these stories persist? It's not just archaeologists who told stories of giants. Native American tribes across the continent passed down rich oral traditions of, quote, the old ones or, quote, the tall ones. I should have let Dustin read this because I'm going to butcher the names like he would, but the Paiute people of Nevada speak of the Sitaka, a race of red-haired cannibalistic giants who once roamed the land before being exterminated by the tribes. This story leads us to the Lovelock Cave mystery, where Bat Guano miners in 1911 discovered ancient artifacts and what they claimed were enormous bones and sandals over 15 inches long. You think about that, what size shoe does Shaq wear today?
Like a size 24, but he's not a giant. Just because you're 7 foot tall don't make you a giant.
When does it make you a giant?
That's what we're trying to figure out, I guess, because I think maybe the term giant's been
Was it Manu
skewed.
Bull that was 7'7" or whatever?
That's not that's abnormally tall, but it's not giant.
When does abnormally tall become giant then, Dustin?
You're saying that the 7 to 12 feet or whatever it was, like 7 feet happens. Probably a little bit less common 200 years ago, 300
I
years
think
ago.
it would be more common.
Or if you think of the Bible being legit on the time frame 2,000 years ago.
I think it would be more. Pollution, right?
Maybe.
What you eat.
Maybe.
Okay.
Bad pituitary glands.
Possibly. Were the Sitaka real, a metaphor for conflict, or something stranger? The Choctaw, my Cherokee Choctaw, Comanche, and Manta tribes also spoke of giants being capable of lifting boulders and hurling trees like spears. They were feared, yes, but always remembered. What's something else we talk about that is big and hurls boulders and tears trees down?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. Could Bigfoot be a giant?
Very well.
Very well could be.
That would make a lot of sense.
But
They're a giant.
See, Dustin,
Yeah.
the 11-year-old gets it.
how have you never found, trying to save this for Bigfoot, but how have you never found a dead Bigfoot? no hunter in the mount
Because he's a ghost. I keep saying that.
But what if it's just one?
Could be.
Then why would you have the story of the Yeti,
why would
Well, that's his cousin.
which is the
Yeah,
white,
that's
the
his
white?
cousin.
But you said there was only one. So how could you have two? In order to be a cousin, there'd be
Well,
two.
I mean, one can live in an Arctic. One can live in a. It's like the North Pole and the South Pole. You got the good ones, you got the bad ones, you got the ones in between. You know.
Next, the abdominal snowman's going to be
I was
real.
gonna say,
Yeah.
next time Yukon Cornelius is going to pull up.
I love
Hermie
Yukon
the-
Cornelius. Thank you very much.
So
Nothing.
let's talk about
Is Yukon Cornelius the there's gold in them there
Yes,
shells
yes.
and Rudolph.
The Bumble is the Yeti.
in the Kraft commercial?
In the Kraft commercial.
Talk about Rudolph the Red-Nosed
No,
Reindeer.
the macaroni and cheese commercial. There's gold in them there shells.
What?
Oh my God, this is from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Bumble's
Even
Bounce.
the 11-year-old knows what we're talking about.
Dustin, I love you. Don't ever change.
Hey,
It's great.
So
I'm going to
let's
keep
talk-
these people entertained because
You
they're losing
did it.
them.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about
Okay.
Dustin's favorite, the giant hoax. The giant
Yes.
hoax theory or era, if you will. So the 19th century was a breeding ground for, quote, giant fever. I mean, let's face it, we had Dave Distiller on talking about giants of the Midwest or giant statues.
Giant
correct?
statue, yeah.
Right, okay.
Not real giants.
So Americans were hungry for proof of biblical events, and newspapers were more concerned with sensationalism than fact. One of the most infamous cases, the Cardiff Giant, a 10-foot stone figure, quote, discovered in 1869 by farmers in New York. It made headlines worldwide until it was revealed as a hoax carved from gypsum and buried by atheist George Hull to make a mockery of literal biblical belief. Even after it was proven fake, thousands still paid to see it. So how many giant skeletons discoveries were real? And how many were clever illusions, financial schemes, or outright lies? The waters get murky here, but the cultural hunger never faded. So let's go away from America for a little bit. Let's go abroad across the world. Shall we, Reagan?
Okay.
All right. So in Ireland, you know where that is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Where's that?
Over by Europe. I think.
Okay.
Over by Scotland.
Yeah.
So we find the Giant's Causeway, a natural formation of a hexagonal basalt columns. Legend says it was built by Fionn mac Cumhal, a giant who fought another across the sea in Scotland. In Peru, elongated skulls found in Paracas have fueled giant theories, though these may be results of skull-binding rituals. In Easter Island, the Moai statues, standing over 30 feet tall, are said by some locals to represent ancient ancestors, some of whom were giants. Even in Japan, the folklore of Oni, massive ogres with horns and immense strength, echo the global pattern. Why do humans across every continent invent or remember these colossal beings?
Because they're entertaining themselves by retelling these stories that are made up. That's
I don't know. I mean, like, there's multiple religions and beliefs and systems that cross. I mean, like, they all have floods. And
That's what I was going to say. You
yeah.
talk about Noah's flood, and every culture has
a flood.
the worldwide flood.
so. If
Yeah.
you're a giant, you're 30. You'd be able to sit on a rock somewhere and just keep your head above water and outlast it.
Do you know how high the floodwaters were?
And it for 40 days and 40,
40
nights.
nights.
I mean, that's a lot.
Okay, being a
of rain.
smart aleck here.
We know.
People were bigger, I'm sure, like the Nordics and things, but not giants. And then once you breed with, not breed, but you reproduce, however you want to look at it, with somebody outside of your, your size or your culture, it's going to change how big you are, but they're not going to be 30 feet tall.
Well, let's bring it back to science, shall we?
Good, because science is going to tell you there ain't nothing.
There is such a thing as giganticism. Or gigantism.
But it's not the giants
It's a
that you're thinking
hormonal
of.
disorder usually covered by a tumor on the pituitary gland, resulting in abnormally large growth. The tallest person on record, Robert Wadlow, who stood 8 foot 11 inches tall. His growth didn't stop until his death at 22. He was real, and a reminder that the human body can produce giant-like figures, though rarely.
And if he was not around modern technology for his time, he wouldn't have been out of bed. So like I said, his body, like your body can't physically take that weight load.
Well, not after eating 13 hot dogs like I did last night either.
And you'll wonder why.
I got the old cardiologist appointment.
You'll wonder why.
But biological giants have limits. Bones, blood, and gravity eventually catch up. So a 15-foot human is scientifically improbable, if not impossible, under our current understanding. Still, how do we explain these old bones, those legends, and those echoes in the caves?
I mean,
So I did meet the world's tallest woman. She used to live here in Indiana,
Yeah.
and I met her at Ponderosa, but she was in a wheelchair, but she was tall. I mean, real tall. So perhaps giants live not in history, but in the collective unconscious. To psychologist Carl Jung, myths reflected archetypes, symbols of the human psyche. Giants represent chaos, nature, and power unchecked. In dreams, they embody overwhelming problems. In religion, they are fallen forces. In storytelling, they are the ultimate, quote, other. But to the believer, giants may still walk, maybe not as flesh and bone, but as metaphors for the dark past we refuse to forget. And the story of giants isn't over. New TikToks, blurry cave videos, quote, giants spotted on mountains conspiracies. The ideal is alive and well. And maybe that's the real story. Giants were never just about height. They were about fear, awe, nature, and things too large for us to understand. Whether they once walked the earth or not, giants will never die because we'll never stop looking up. So we'll start off with Reagan. Reagan, do you believe that giants have at any point been real?
I mean, they could have been. It just depends on like your point of view of how you're reading it, because there is several things that could be proven true. But like you said, there was something that was proven wrong, but yet billions of people were still willing to see it. So it just depends on your point of view.
Okay. Jackie?
You know, I totally believe that this is possible. I mean, there's evidence of it. There's evidence of it in history and lore and belief and religion, clear across the board. There's entire books that are written in the Bible that have been, taken in and taken out. But there's mention of David and Goliath. There's mention of, all of the Nephilim, and it just gets into some strange territory. I mean, is it possible? Totally. Do we have people that defy norms today? Absolutely. I don't 100% know if there would ever be a race of them, unless there was two people that are really specific and able to make this giant race of people. But it's fascinating, and I think that it's quite possible. I do believe that there's some strange stuff to it. I don't know. I'd like to say there is, just because it's possible. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on Dark Discoveries. Oh, wait. Dustin.
Okay. So I'm going to wrap this whole, we're going to go back. So the first probably documented case of a giant was David and Goliath. Mm-hmm. Somebody forgot to carry a one, or carried a one when they shouldn't have, because most likely he was only 6'9". So when David, how tall was David? Do we know how tall David was?
I don't know. I had to pull up my Bible and check.
Probably 5'2", 5'3", 5'4".
Well, he was a young boy when he did it too. Not young, but.
So, God, this guy's a giant. No, David, he's just kind of tall. You're just short and young. And you start the lore that he's a giant because he's 3 or 4 feet taller than you are, because you're not very old and you're not very tall.
He was taller than everybody else on the battlefield.
Yeah, because how many people are going to be 6'9"? So I guess giants are real if 6'9" is a giant. So every basketball player.
Are you sure it wasn't
that's over,
6'7"?
People who are 6'6". My uncle's 6'6", and gosh, he's probably only 180 pounds. He looks like little Tweety bird legs. He's 6'6", and that's tall. That is, then you get people that are, 6'9", 7 foot. It happens. But the thing is when you're smaller, depending on where you're at, if you're 4'11", somebody 7 foot tall, that's giant to you. So I guess the giant is all in your perspective.
I think what you're getting held up on is when we say giant, I think what you're thinking is like 15 foot or higher.
Yeah, and that's not a giant.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying between probably 8 to 12 foot is what I would consider a giant.
I don't think 12. I think 8 foot's probably going to be your max.
Which, I mean, then that has to be more realistic in your mind. Because think about it. I mean, we have an uncle that is 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
Tall guy. That would be considered giant in many countries and norms and things. But it's one of those things. I mean, that has to breach your mind a little bit that it's possible, right?
I think, like I said, the body can only take so much. And that's where
they probably don't live insanely
I'm going to say that, at one time, and if you're a skinny 7 foot tall, it's a little odd. But if you're a big, bulky, like we can go back, the Nordic people and the Vikings were bigger people, right? Like they were just bigger statured people. Maybe more.
Are you sure? Maybe
more broad shouldered. So that may give the illusion of being more broad, being taller. But like I said, to me, you say giants, my brain goes to abnormally unhuman like size.
All right, let me pull this down to Dustin's level. Dustin, how tall was Elegante? When he fought the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Well, see, El Gigante, you mean?
Yeah.
There you go, saying words wrong again.
Elegante, that's what he was known at in WCW.
I think the real height of him and his real height was lied. So they didn't.
I'm just asking you, how tall was he?
Let me find out.
Was Andre taller than him?
Let me pull it up here because El Gigante. It's not going to pull it up right now because you do this and then like nothing ever Googles.
But would you consider him and Andre giants?
So they said he was 8'3", but I don't think he was billed that. But I don't know what he actually was off the top of my head. It wasn't.
Well, you think he had lifts in his shoes?
No, you know how it goes. If you're 7'5" and I'm 5'2", you can bill me as 8 feet tall, and you're not gonna probably bat an eye at it. He was 7'7".
That's a big dude.
Is big, but then they're huge. But then they're going 8 feet, so now they're starting to take liberty. Yeah, it's 3 inches, but
That's what she said.
It's 3 inches, but it's not the
few inches.
Is that a lot?
So
it is.
So I guess if you enlightened me on giants, it's more just your perception of what a giant is.
Right.
And when we talk giants, I mean, you're thinking.
I'm not talking about like TikTok where you see those 30-foot guys walking on top of cliffs.
No,
you know what I'm talking about. You know it's all AI. And that's the problem with AI. You don't know what's real. They're getting really good at some of it.
They're getting pretty good. Although the hands are always messed up.
They always got like
wrong.
Dustin hands.
Too many fingers.
Yeah. Or I remember when I made those videos of us on AI with the baby podcast and Dustin had like 2 arms or whatever going across.
And a mermaid fin for a hand.
Just it's 8 foot.
So
possible.
do you think there were any giants that were between 8 and 12 foot? That's what I'm going to ask you.
I'm going to go
30 foot.
I'm going to go like 7.5 to 8 probably happened because it happens today. You get guys that are 7'4", 7.
There was George Murazan in the NBA, Manute Bull. There's been some tall guys, but Sean Bradley, but their careers are cut pretty short too.
Yeah, the body just can't take it. I don't think you can work out enough.
Wasn't it the Big Show who had that surgery?
Yes, he had.
So he wouldn't keep growing.
Yeah, and how tall would you go with that? I mean, there's medical conditions that grow, but Andre the Giant was huge. Like, don't get me wrong, he was huge.
His hands were massive.
Like he was that's. I guess if you want to get to a giant, that was the only documented giant.
And I absolutely love during the filming of
Princess
Princess Diaries.
they were doing a behind the scenes thing, and Andre the Giant, like in the first 30 seconds of him like being on film, let out this massive fart, and they said it went on for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah,
it just
like,
didn't stop.
His favorite thing was to like to fart on people. Like it was just
It just kept
Well,
going.
not just that, but wait till they get in the ring and he'll do other things in the ring.
so real quick, since you brought up we'll bring up Andre the Giant.
Yes.
So when he would go to Japan, Andre the Giant was so big,
How big was he?
he couldn't use the toilets there.
Oh,
He'd have
yeah.
to sit in the bathtub
Or
Oh no.
or on
and
the bed.
waffle stomp it.
Oh no.
Or they would take the sheets and stuff on the bed.
Yep.
And he would go there and clean up, and they'd have to throw it out.
Oh my god.
Like he traveled in a van with a beanbag chair in the back because he was so big, and he drank beer from town.
Give
like,
the man like a 5-gallon bucket.
He would get like cases of wine to drink while the
Yeah,
other
he's-
people had like they,
glass.
They said they couldn't keep up with him.
Wow.
Because he was so big that it
It didn't faze him.
at
Yeah.
all.
you know, and he was 7'4".
That's
But
not-
but even
yeah.
in WrestleMania 3, the famous where Hogan slammed him, he was in a lot of pain.
Oh, yeah.
That was like it was his chance to put over Hogan and make sure the wrestling industry continued the way it was going. But I mean, I've watched documentaries on it. He was in so much pain, and that's when he told Hogan, "Hey, slam me."
Yeah.
And Hogan was like, "What?" He's like,
Let's
"Slam
end
me."
this, yeah.
Because Hogan knew that by him slamming Andre, it was going to hurt Andre.
Yeah,
because he was already hurt.
and it was the passing of the torch,
Right.
and he was way past his prime.
Yeah.
But just like I said, it goes back to the physical, how your body just can't take that weight. You can for so long, and then it starts to break down, and
Time and age.
So
and
Dustin,
everything else. Mhm.
so we can start wrapping this up. Are you saying between 7.5 to 12 foot? Yes, no.
like 8 foot at the absolute.
But still, that is a giant race of people.
That's a
Yeah.
huge thing, and you would think when you talk giant, you'd be a bunch of them, and there's nothing documented. I think you're going to have some anomalies to where certain things maybe look a little bit bigger than they were, but
All right, let me ask you a question then. Do you believe in aliens?
that is a
Could an
loaded.
alien be a giant then?
My grand,
Could an alien be over 12 foot tall?
we don't know because we've never seen it. Now,
There you go.
my grandpa is one of the smartest people I knew, and he bought into that ancient astronaut, the pyramids, but he was like, aliens are the dead. Like he had his own thing, but he was a pretty smart guy. So maybe he knew a little bit more than I do, but it's just one of those things that, like I said, it's just such an anomaly, only here and there. Now, can you breed taller people? Like, can you take some
I think we're
7
going
foot
to
tall
be getting
Russian
to
people?
that. We're
and-
going to be
and-
getting to the point where we genetically do that because I mean, let's face it, they cloned the sheep,
Well,
or
and
horse, or whatever.
supposedly
it was,
Tom
T-Rex
Brady
or whatever. it was.
Supposedly Tom Brady had a clone of his dog,
yeah.
and it lived with so like places over in Russia, they're doing stem cell stuff that we don't do here. That
Well, not to
that
mention,
you don't know we're doing here.
well,
not to mention, I mean, the hormones and things that in food now, we are larger than we were
yeah,
20,
exactly.
30 years ago.
Obesity
Yeah.
is a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing is we're getting taller now.
Yeah.
We were smaller people the turn of the century. Mm-hmm. The average height has went up. So it just makes it hard. Probably
It's harder to believe because of
You
where we are
can't
now.
see it.
But, maybe 100 years ago,
perception
may
though.
have been a
Yeah.
little different.
When
Yeah.
you're 4'11", if you're from a place in New Guinea where you're 4'11",
Yeah.
as a fully tall, grown male, and you come up with a guy that's 6'6", it's a giant.
Yeah.
So it's all in the perception of what it is, but a race of
Well, and I mean, you have to think.
giant people, I don't see that.
But here's the thing, too. Culturally, if you were to go to Asia, you would tower over
Yeah.
an entire population. You would be perceived as a giant there. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Is
perception.
it could come down to a regional thing. We may just be larger people here or smaller people there. So yeah.
Well, when 100 years from now, when somebody stumbles across the Dark Discoveries podcast, I want you guys to go on the internet or wherever you can go in your mind by then and get a picture of me, Dustin, and Jackie, and we want to see how tall Where are we giants compared to you when you find this in 100 years?
Jackie was never a giant. I'll be real
That's true.
honest.
Jackie's kind of small.
Neither was her mom.
Yeah, you're
I
almost
was gonna
taller
say, I
than
think
me.
you're almost
Yeah.
there.
So
So for me,
this is funny. I'm just going to just nerd a little bit. So I was watching the Harry Potter baking show with my wife on TV. One of the
Baking
actors,
show. What?
Yeah, they have a baking.
one of the actors, I'm like, how tall is this guy? Like 5'2"? He's up with these people that are like, 6 foot, and he's maybe a little bit taller. He's standing to him and like doesn't even come up to like their elbow. And it's like, I'm like, okay, these guys look like giants next to him. I think that's just the same thing, 5'2" versus 6'6" is, it's a foot and a half, but it's a giant difference.
Well, you ever see that Kevin Hart bit where Shaq and somebody else like hug, and he's like, "Wow, I just disappeared."
Yeah,
It's the
and,
best.
and you see Shaq with like, I think it was his girlfriend who's like 5 foot
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
He looks like a monster, and it's
Yeah.
just, I guess it all goes back to perception.
so for me, being a Christian and being a believer and believing the Bible, when the Bible tells me in Genesis 6 that there were giants in the land in those days, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe Goliath was a giant. How tall he was, neither here or there. 6 cubits and a
Yeah, because
thing.
one says it's like a cubic. It made him like 9 feet 9 versus
Right.
6. Somebody didn't do the math right, but he
Whatever.
was still a big person.
But they called him a giant. And you know what? He had brothers.
and it makes sense that why he got defeated with a rock, because he had brittle bones.
And so for me, I absolutely 100% believe they were real. Now, are you going to go find a whole tribe of them in Canada? Maybe, but I doubt it. I mean, the
doubt
Valley
it.
of the Headless Men
Yeah.
we just talked about?
Yeah.
No, but for me, my faith tells me the Bible says it was, and I believe that, and I believe the Bible. So for me, I believe they actually existed. Now, I don't think there's many today. And let's face it, after years of erosion, the flood, even floods, not worldwide floods, but floods in territories, tsunamis, earthquakes, volcanoes,
War,
typhoons,
famine, everything
all
else.
that.
Yeah.
You've probably lost bones along the way somewhere. I mean, I say desert storms, not Desert Storm the war, but desert, the storms blowing the sandstorms and all that. I think a lot of this stuff has been lost. And that's why even today, they are finding over in Egypt, they are finding archaeological digs of pharaohs that lived in the Bible, and they are they're digging down, and they are actually finding like kings and pharaohs and queens of stuff that they long thought was gone.
Those sandstorms,
and that nobody believed.
those
I've been in them.
sandstorms change how tall the land is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question.
But was there any 12-foot tall?
But let
doorways?
me ask you this question. Could giants have built the pyramids?
No.
I think it
I've
was
been
just
there.
straight up slave labor. And
I don't think it's even slave labor. I think it was legitimately skilled people, because I actually saw the rock that they were chiseling out. There was one that was abandoned because halfway through they had like 3 of the almost 4 sides of this giant block cut out. And when I say giant block, I mean, I'm talking they were cutting down limestone probably 7 or 8 feet, about 10 feet across. It was a big piece. And this chunk started with a small crack. And to this day, you can still see the crack, and they abandoned it. The tools, the things that they would have had, it was very skilled people. And how precise these were, some of them, you can't even slide like a piece of paper through. It is so tightly packed. It would have to be, I don't even think it's slave. I would have to be so in tune with what they were doing. It was very precise.
Well, I have two thoughts on that. One, I watched something one time that they think they use vibrations
Which very well
to
could
move
be.
the stones.
Yeah.
But number 2, let's think about something. Just because something is older, like the pyramids, doesn't mean we have better technology today than what they had.
No,
That is everybody's perception that, technology is better today than it was back then. That is not necessarily
they had
the
thousands
case.
of years to adapt to what they were living in.
Right. So when people, that always bothers me when people are like, well, the technology today. Well, no, what about the technology back then?
Very
It could have been
primitive.
better than, I'm not even saying primitive. It could have been more advanced than what we have. We just haven't found it yet.
That's true. There's quite a bit that they didn't know, but
Right.
there's so much more that we're still discovering. And it was so smart on how so much of this stuff was planned and executed and hidden. Yeah.
Well, look at how they preserve their mummies compared to
Yeah.
what we embalm today.
And what's so crazy is we lost so much of that history because we were burning those mummies
Yes.
as coal and fuel and things. And people were eating mummy dust because they believed it cured them. I mean, what we have consumed as a nation, we've lost in history so much. It's insane. But I mean, I'm going to have to cover Egypt.
We're gonna have to cover
clearly, 'cause
an Egypt topic.
if you don't know, pyramids are kind of my thing. And I've seen several sets of ruins. In fact, January, by the time this comes out, well, I will be back from it, but I'm going to another set of ruins.
So you heard it here first. If you would like to join a pyramid scheme, contact Jackie Johnson. At the
Yes.
It's not a
Please give me all the money.
It's an upside down funnel. It's not a pyramid
That's right. That's
scheme.
right. It's coming to me. Wait, it's coming to someone. Okay.
All right, Jackie, do you have this episode's missing child?
I sure do. As of course, my screen went black. So hang on just a second here. All right. We are looking for Jamarian Wilson. I'm so sorry, Jamarian Williams out of Des Moines, Iowa tonight. He is missing case number M828578931. He has been missing since August 16th of 2025. His current age right now is 15. We will put all of his information up on our social medias. If you have any information regarding him, please call the Des Moines Police Department at 1-515-283-4811.
Hey, Jackie, guess what?
What?
Dustin actually did one this week.
Thank you, Dustin.
I know.
I'm trying to
He
get
put it on the page, but he didn't put it in the group. And I said, Dustin, just copy and paste and put it on.
Well, I don't want to
That's right, it's all
overload
there.
everything. So
It's all there.
Well,
Okay.
this has been Dark Discoveries, where the deeper you dive,
The darker it gets.
and coming in from parts unknown,
at 5'6",
275 pounds,
King Tut. He wasn't that big though.
Dustin the Giant Buffet.